Hello, readers and listeners of the Something Extraordinary podcast, in which we discuss issues surrounding mental health and in which we strive to be the sunrise to your sunset. Today's video will bring you something different from what we've done so far. In today's video, we want you guys to meet the children of Asian salons. We have interviewed Madi, a young Asian whose family owns a salon. With the recent Atlanta spa shootings, and ever since the coronavirus outbreak, there has been a huge increase in the amount of Asian hate crimes and Asian hate in general. Although it may not seem clear at the surface, to see the linkage between Asian hate crimes and mental health issues, they are in fact very much interconnected, because it is very much this exact same hate, discrimination, and prejudice that is increasing these mental health struggles within the Asian community and within the general public who are seeing these atrocities. As you listen to this interview, we strongly encourage you to deeply consider this issue and to post about your own thoughts in the comments below about your experiences too with Asian hate.
I've never experienced racism firsthand at the nail salon before, but that's also most likely because I've never served the customers like my mother has. Most people come to the salon looking just to get their nails done, and once it's done, they pay and leave. Oftentimes there are no problems, and my mother is able to carry on with her job. My mother also doesn't talk about her experiences from work when she gets home because most of the time she's already tired, and if something bad did happen, she wouldn't want me to worry. I think part of it has to do with how parents, especially Asian ones, feel like they have to raise their children and how they were also taught to behave when they were children themselves. I've definitely been more on edge and more aware of all the things that have been happening in the Asian community. And women and children are often victims of hate crimes. And because my mom goes to work at the nail salons every day from morning to night, I worry a lot when she comes home later than usual and every time she leaves in the morning, because you never know if it could happen to you or the people you love. More importantly though, I feel worry and grief and anger for those who had lost their family and loved ones in the recent hate crimes due to a rise in anti-Asian hate. I know that lots of people in the Asian community feel anguish, and I think it's okay for them to feel that way. It's a huge part of the grieving process, and I think that after being the silent minority for so long, rising up, no matter in what form, is completely fine and necessary for change. I hope that when change and reform does take place, especially in larger institutions like the government, people in the Asian community, as well as other people of color and minorities, can rest easy and worry less, knowing that they are represented and the people who commit such heinous crimes are being held fully accountable. I know that the authorities are still debating whether or not the Atlanta spa shootings were actually a hate crime, but I believe that they definitely are. 6 of the 8 people who were killed in the shootings were Asian women, and anti-Asian hate crimes have increased by almost 150% just from 2019 to 2020. I know that there is hesitance to call something a hate crime, especially from authorities and those in power, because they don't want to acknowledge that racial discrimination is still a huge problem today. People in power don't like to admit when they're doing something wrong and avoid taking action for as long as they can, harming a huge majority of people, especially minorities and people of color. This isn't just a racial issue, I think, but also an issue about government control or lack thereof on the possession and distribution of guns. I think it's clear that the comments were insensitive, and whether Captain J. Baker meant it or not, extremely harmful to the Asian American community. Saying that Long, the shooter, was simply having a bad day disregards the lives of the people who were lost that day and does not hold Long accountable for his actions. Regardless of his sex addiction and whether or not he was just having a bad day, nothing could ever be justification for a hate crime of this magnitude. Long's supposed sex addiction only plays into the hypersexualization and fetishization of Asian women that has been present and alive for centuries. There are even stereotypical films and a whole industry born from the repulsive sexualization of Asian women, something that many fail to realize which still actively harms Asian women today. Additionally, I did further research and read up on more information about the Atlanta spa shootings as well as people involved in the case, and found that Captain J. Baker, the sheriff who spoke about Long at a conference, had previously posted racist and insensitive comments on his Facebook about the coronavirus, saying, "Love my shirt, get yours while they last," in response to a shirt that was printed with the words COVID-19, imported virus from China, with China being spelled CHY-NA. All of this shows the failures of the justice system, but also the well-known concept of white supremacy and how things will never change if the government doesn't take action. I don't think that salon owners should feel the same about regular customers who visit their salons, but that doesn't mean that they should completely ignore it and not take any safety precautions either. You never know what could happen, and so I believe it's better to be safe than sorry. Just like how not everyone walking through the door is Robert Aaron Long, not every Asian American person in the United States as well as other countries is dirty or sick and brought the coronavirus over. The very act of saying something like that on social media, which I see often and have gone into arguments with people to get them to change their point of view, as well as personally received, is racist in itself and should be completely unacceptable. Finally, I also want to say to the Asian community as well as allies of the Stop Asian Hate movement that it's okay to be overwhelmed by everything that's happening. As long as you don't let it control you and cause you mental harm, there's nothing wrong about getting upset or grieving over someone that you may not know. I also want allies and people of the Asian community to know that it's okay to take a break from social media and fall back on the news updates every once in a while. Please remember to prioritize your mental as well as physical well-being. If anybody watching, listening, reading, or whatever other way there is, has the means to donate and wants to help raise awareness for anti-Asian hate crimes as well as help those who have been affected by the recent attacks, please consider donating to Stop AAPI Hate. And to those who suffered or know someone who suffered from an attack, you can report it to the FBI instead of the police, who would take further legal action, and also make a report on stopaapi.hate.org.